All right, this is part 3 of chapter 4 of Liberate. And where we left off was the section control. So if you have ever seen a sailboat in motion, it may appear to be effortlessly gliding on the water, but it is not as easy as it looks. Even the most experienced sailors have to align the things they can control, the position of the sails and rudder, for example, with the variables that are beyond their control, like the speed and direction of the wind. Imagine you plan to sail to a far-off island where you will find financial security and independence. Even if the wind and waves and all the other factors that are beyond your control are working against you, you are still the captain of the ship. There are still things within your control that can ensure you reach the island rather than being hopelessly adrift. You have control of the sails and the rudder. You can tack your way through the wind to reach your destination. Okay. This concept also holds true for financial planning. If you focus on the things you can control, your level of debt and spending habits, and stop trying to fight against the variables you can't, you will make steady progress toward the island of financial independence. Although you can't fully control job market conditions or investment returns, you can enhance your skills to improve your employability and make informed decisions about investment opportunities. By continuously improving your skills and investment knowledge, you can better catch the wind to move forward even if it changes direction, right? So this is introducing that concept that you have the power to change. However, there will be some forces or variables that are outside of your control. Nevertheless, you're going to control what you can and make the best decisions you can in face, of these other obstacles or variables that you don't have control over. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So the choices out of your control are like sudden storms or rogue waves you encounter on your journey. You can't control these events, but you can prepare for them. Just as having emergency supplies and a sturdy boat can help you weather the storm, insurance and an emergency fund can protect you from financial disasters. Building an emergency fund and obtaining insurance guarantees that you can stay afloat and recover quickly when unexpected events occur. Because certain circumstances like sudden squalls are out of your control, it is imperative to get the choices that are totally under your control right. By wisely managing your spending and debt, setting the sails, enhancing your skills and investment knowledge, adjusting to the wind, and preparing for emergencies, having a sturdy boat and supplies, you can navigate the sea of your financial life successfully, ultimately reaching the island of financial independence. The point of the analogy is to know what you control in life and to what extent. Some choices are entirely under your control, like your spending habits and indebtedness. Some decisions are somewhat under your control, like your income and assets. Some decisions are beyond your control, like accidents and government intervention. Let me explain further. It is a correct principle to be perfectly responsible. So take full responsibility for all your choices, especially those you completely control. If you get into debt to buy a fancy new car, you consciously decide to do that, and it is entirely under your control. You could have chosen not to buy a car with a hefty loan, chosen to buy the car with cash, or chosen to buy a less expensive used vehicle requiring less debt. That choice was 100% under your control. The financial choices you make where you have total control are the ones you absolutely want to get right. Why? Because those are the guaranteed wins toward your FI. Those are the layups you don't want to miss. If there were ever freebies in your FI journey, these would be the complete control choices. Between the stimulus of I want or need a new car and the response of you buying a new car is your power to choose. In that moment, you can make the wealthy choice not to go into debt, or at least as little debt as possible. On the other hand, you can pick the poor choice to go into debt and spend more than you can afford. This decision will either take you closer to your FI or further away from it. How much control do I have over financial choices, right? So this is trying to just provide kind of a picture of the concept that was just described. Okay. So right here, we have on the left-hand side, we have zero control, right? No control. And this obviously is not exact, right? There's not a science behind this. This is just to give you a picture of what this looks like. Over here, 100% control, complete control, some control. And then we have accidents, government intervention, more on the no control side, income and assets somewhere in the middle, and spending and debt on the complete control side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now read, which will further explain this idea. Now that you've seen this picture here, this illustration. Okay, the choices that are somewhat under your control would be your income and assets. For example, regarding income, you choose how to earn money. Still, other influences may be out of your control when looking for employment. For example, the employer you want to work for is not hiring. The industry you were going to work in is in a current slump. Some of these outside forces may inhibit your good intentions to gain employment and earn income. You make the best choice in these circumstances, knowing that the immediate outcome may not be as expected. When it comes to assets, you have control over the ones you choose to buy. However, external factors can limit this control. For instance, you might desire an asset that is currently overvalued, making it an unwise purchase. Alternatively, an asset you wish to acquire, such as a piece of real estate, might not be on the market. In such cases, you may need to wait or explore other options. These external influences can restrict your ability to act on your preferences. When it comes to choices that are out of your control, you might make a decision and believe that a particular outcome should prevail. Still, the government could change the law, affecting the consequences of your decision after it has already been made. This scenario could also occur with an accident or natural disaster. You might base your decision on the most probable outcome, which is derailed due to an unforeseen natural disaster. In these situations, you still want to make the most informed decision possible. However, you know that something completely out of your control could happen, forcing a negative consequence. Because certain outcomes are out of your control, making the wealthy choice is essential when the outcome is entirely under your control. These completely controlled wealthy choices will provide a measure of protection against the outcomes you cannot completely control. Remember way back, I think it was maybe in the preface or chapter 1, we talked about having a buffer, right? And that's, you're creating buffers in your life by making the wealthy choices when you have complete control over those outcomes. All right, we're going to stop right there and come back and finish up chapter 4.